Welcome everyone, this is Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden and I will be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about how to build yourself from scratch. This is going to be a tune-up series. Tune-up series are meant for people who have a strong mindset. We are on tune-up series 52, I believe, and we are going to be talking about building ourselves up from scratch. What does that mean? Well, the easy definition is going to be when you build yourself up from scratch, you are better. If you just get something pre-made, it might not be exactly what you want. For example, if you take a stock car from Tesla, most people want custom cars from Tesla. They want certain things, upgrades. There is nothing wrong with wanting all of those things in your car. We have to look at that and reflect it back to life. There's nothing wrong with wanting a good life. Maybe you want a certain house, a certain car, a certain dog, and there is nothing wrong with doing that. But if I gave you the perfect life, and the perfect life is not your perfect life, it's someone else's perfect life. For example, I'm going to give you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, no pool. I'm going to give you a Yorkie, and I'm going to give you a Cocker Spaniel, and I'm going to give you a Honda Civic, and that's going to be your perfect life. You might say, that doesn't sound too perfect to me. Maybe it is. Maybe that is your perfect life. But does this sound better than what I just said? I'm going to give you a 6-bedroom, 6-bath house with a guest house, with a pool, a home personal gym, views of the hillside in the country. You're going to have 2 cars. One is going to be the Yukon Denali, and you're going to have that for your family car. And then you're also going to have a Lamborghini to get around town. Maybe a Mercedes-Benz for date night. So you are going to say, well, that sounds like a better life. Okay, yeah. Maybe I even toss in a private jet. You got a private jet, guys. All right, great job. Private jet. You can go anywhere in the world you want. Which life sounds better? It's a 3.2 with a Honda Civic or your private jet in your mansion? Typically, the mansion, private jet, yeah, you might say, oh, there's more problems in the mansion and the private jet. Things are going to break. I understand. But which one looks better? Which one should you go for? When you set your goals and when you build your dreams, you don't just simply say, oh, I'm going to settle for less. Typically, you say, I want something so extravagant. Your dreams should not only scare you, they should look crazy to other people. So that means if I have a dream and I tell somebody my dream and they go, oh, okay. That should be their response. It shouldn't be like, all right, that's a nice dream. Great job, Mike. You're going to get it. All right. People have to doubt you when it comes to that dream, because that dream is coming from scratch. It's coming from a place of, I don't know if I can do this, but you do it. When I was younger in high school, I worked in a nursing home in the kitchen and I didn't know much about cooking. Yes, my mom showed me how to cook a little bit, not really. My dad showed me how to cook, not really. My grandma always cooked, so I was always around people cooking. But it wasn't so much of let me learn how to cook. And it wasn't until I was in the kitchen and I didn't have a choice. And I said, I need to cook. And so I learned about flavors. I learned about different techniques from cutting to sanitation to prep. Now I can make some of the best meals. But it took me building from where I was. Not saying, oh, I want to be the best renowned chef. I had to say, well, I have great chefs around me. But yeah, I'm not taking action. So what was the missing piece? Maybe money, maybe a purpose, right? Why did I want to get better? To serve the residents at the nursing home I was at, and then working at a restaurant later. I wanted to do the best job I could. There's just different aspects to building yourself up from scratch. What I will say is that it's going to be different for everybody. This blog right here, again, is a tune-up series for a reason. This is not going to be your static, ABC. You're going to get to where you need to be. You need to figure out how to build yourself up from scratch. I have built myself. I know what I need. I know what I need to do next. You need to know that too. If you don't know what you need to do next, you need to get a coach. You need to get a mentor. You need to get someone who has done it, who is willing to help you do it. And you need to start taking action today. So let's take a look at this blog and then let's begin our discussion. All right, everyone, if you're new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share the video and or audio to help build a community of people who want to build their life from scratch. So we are trying to build our life from scratch. And as I said, when we are doing that, we need to look at it in the realm of if you go to a store. Here in Texas, we have our HEBs. Maybe you're familiar with Costco, it's a big chain Whole Food store. Maybe Sam's Club, BJ's Wholesale Club. There's many different types of clubs that you can go to. There's many grocery stores, Aldi's. There's just so many stores that you can have ShopRite, depending on your region. Well, there's something you need to know about the stores. If you stay on the outside of the store and you go around the store, you just circumference it, you're going to see things that have to be cooked. Your vegetables, you can get fruits too and make pies and stuff, so that is raw fruit. Then you get into the meats, your fish, your cheese stuff. Now, of course, there's going to be some things in the outside of the store that you don't have to cook, but the majority of the things that you have to cook are going to be there. Now, when you go into the middle of the store, you're going to start to get more processed foods, the box goods, built to last. So those are going to be like your pancake mixes, your flours, your pasta sauces, all of that. They're not from scratch. It's in a can or in a box. The flavor might not be bad. It might taste good enough. But if you can learn how to make the best pasta sauce, or if you can learn how to grind your own flour, it's going to taste better and it's going to be healthier for you, because there's just so many chemicals that companies use, like bleached flour. Like, really? Like, I don't think that's good to be eating. And then it's enriched. Okay, with what? Why do I need it? I mean, there's just so much poor quality food that people don't even realize is poor quality until they realize they're overweight or they have some type of health issue. We need to be more cognizant to what we eat. But before we do that, we need to be cognizant of how we live our life. Similar to how that grocery store is built, our life is built very similar to that. We are living life on the inside in our comfort zone, in our box. We have our pancake mixes. We have all the things that might not be the greatest things, because the things on the outside of the box, the things on the corners of the box, the ones that might be borderline fearful and require some level of skill, that right there is going to be more difficult to attain, because you have to prep, you have to know, you have to have the skills. Do you have it? So we need to learn how to build our life from scratch. We need to learn how to get in the kitchen and make the best meal possible. And even after the first meal that you make, you're going to find that maybe it's not good. What do? Are you going to stop cooking? Are you going to stop trying to reach your dream of making the best meal, the best life possible? Some people are going to. So you need to realize, what is that for you? And we're going to be talking about that right now. And I'm going to be sharing with you at the end of this a step-by-step recipe breakdown that we're going to be talking about at the end of this. So stay tuned for that. So when I was writing this blog, I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good one, because I wanted to talk about this for so long when it comes to taste and flavor. My wife and I love going out to different restaurants, and we love trying new food, and we love trying different recipes in the house too. So it's not like, oh, we're eating the same thing all the time. I know people sometimes they think meal prep is eating the same thing over and over. To be honest, I can eat salad probably 3 or 4 days out of the week. The rest of the days, it might be something different. Switch it up a little bit, spice it up, some eggs, some steak or whatever. Maybe have a cheat day, so we go out to eat and we might get a bunch of different things. But how we do that is not always a cookie cutter type approach. We don't get bag salads to have all the mix in it all the time. Sometimes we do. That's easier for us. But when we make a salad from scratch, it is so much more healthy in the sense of it's fresh. It is full of flavor. I mean, we have our carrots, our onions, our tomatoes from our garden. All of that right there. Think about it. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be sweet. So when I eat that salad versus the bag salad, I'm like, this is a night and day difference in flavor and how I feel after it. When I build from scratch, I feel better. And in our life, when we build from scratch, we have the opportunity to be in a better position. You might think that, oh, if I was given everything, I would be happy. Well, if you were given everything, I guarantee you would lose it, because most people are just not disciplined to keep the life that they get. most people are going to blow it all. Like I said, there are some people that can adjust. There's some people that can do the right thing. They might find the right people to help them manage their newfound wealth, their newfound life. But for many people, they're going to try to walk it alone like they have always been doing. And they're going to say, I've been doing it up to now, so why stop? Well, the reason why you need to stop is because it's not effective. Study after study, statistic after statistic shows that having a mentor, having a coach, having someone help you in life is the best way to live. Do you think rich people do everything by themselves? Do you think people who have all this money say, you know what, I'm going to spend some time and I'm going to get some food? No, they get a personal chef. Sometimes they do the Uber Eats and things along those lines, and that might be stuff that's not from scratch, but it can be things from scratch. Your Chipotle, your Greek bowls and stuff like that, they're making that food from scratch. Now, some of the stuff can be processed, but it's going to be very little. When I talk about the concept of building yourself up from scratch, there's going to be things that, of course, you can use the box goods. Of course, you can use the pancake mix. It's just going to be an easier process. Some things you have to build from scratch. We don't always have to reinvent the wheel, but we do have to understand when we're building a car that wheels are something that have already been made and we can use them, we can utilize them. So asking yourself what needs to truly be made from scratch and what can be used from the grocery store, the boxes and stuff like that. You might say, I can make the sauce, but I don't want to make the pasta. You get the pasta from the box. Now, is the pasta from the box going to taste better than the pasta that you make and you roll and you do yourself? No, it's not. But it can speed up the process because time is of the essence. Building yourself up from scratch will take more time than just a cookie cutter approach. There's a lot of stuff on the internet right now. Make $10,000 a month online. Do this drop shipping market, Amazon, go to eBay and go to garage sales and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many people doing it and you definitely can make an income off it. There's no doubt in my mind that you can make an additional $10,000 doing that. However, just because you're doing it, it doesn't mean you enjoy it. It doesn't mean that it's a passion of yours. You might be doing it because it makes more money and gives you the lifestyle that you're looking for. That is one way to live life. What I'm trying to help you understand is if you're building from scratch, you are building the life that you want exactly. Think of it as a custom builder home. You're not going to just go to the builder and say, hey, build me something. Not going to give him any hints, nothing. No, just build me something. Okay, great. Well, he might put in a theater. He might put in a bowling alley. He might put in a swimming pool. He might put in, 5 bedrooms and make it like a 10-story house. Okay. Well, comes to find out his client that never really spoke to him, and he really never spoke to his client, saw his client, was someone who's confined to a wheelchair. Oh, yeah. There's no elevator in the house. There was no specification for a wheelchair ramp or an elevator. So there's floors that this person can't go to. There's a bowling alley he probably can't use because it might not be specialized for him. There's going to be a pool he might not be able to get into because there's no lift to get into the pool. I mean, we can go down the list of the things that the person could say, saying, hey, I want this. I want this. I want it to be specified like this. I want this many bedrooms. I want this to be in my house, etc. That would be the easy or most effective way to do it. However, most people are just like, just give me what I get. Just give me the life that you got. Whatever's ready. 5-minute pizza from Caesars or Domino's or whatever. Hot and ready. Yeah. Hot and delicious, sure. But then, it's going to be a big mess later on when you're overweight. It's going to be a big mess when you don't have the energy because it doesn't have the proper nutrition. There's just so much that comes from when you don't give a directive when you're building from scratch. So we do have to look at the recipe for it, right? So the step-by-step breakdown and how I do it and how I help my clients do it, because there's a way to do it and then there's a way to do it. The way to do it is like, yeah, just give me whatever you got, all right? But you're not truly being specific. So you have to be very specific, but you can only be specific to a certain level. So if you know anything about cooking, again, cooking is the reason why this blog is there, building yourself up from scratch, building from scratch, making from scratch, okay? When you're building from scratch and you're a chef, you taste things along the way. Whether you did it 50 times or you did it 1,000,000 times, you're going to taste it. Now, if you're making something a steak, you're probably not going to taste it. But if you're making like a pasta sauce or something like that, and you're making it from scratch and you get the roux and everything, you're probably going to say, what does it need? Well, it needs a little pepper. It needs a little bit more salt. It needs a little bit of pepper flakes, or it needs some rosemary, some garlic. You're going to say that because you tasted it. So there's a process to doing the building from scratch. You do have to live it to a certain extent, but you do have to understand the ingredients that go into the dish too. So you might have other ingredients, the salt, the pepper, the sugar, whatever you need, but then you put it in and you go, oh, this is too bitter. Oh, this is too sweet. Oh, this is too salty. You've probably been to a restaurant where you're like, oh, this food's pretty salty. Oh, this food is not really that good. Oh, this food has no flavor. Because they didn't add what they needed to. They were building from scratch maybe, but they weren't paying attention to the finer details. The finer details is what it does to your palate. What does it do to your mindset at the end? When you build your life up from scratch, how do you want your mind to think? How do you want your life to resonate? Some people don't really care. Some people truly do care. I find most people truly do care. So if you are one of those people who truly do care, you need to start to define exactly what type of things you want in your life. What type of things you want in your dream house. Almost visualization, but just becoming specific. What are some of the things you don't like? Do you like anchovies, for example? So if you're building a pizza from scratch, you might have the pizza oven. You might have everything, but you need to get the dough, the flour, the yeast. Then you have to get the salt. Then you have to get the tomatoes to make the pizza sauce. And then you have to get the cheese and the basil. And there's many different things that you need in order to make a pizza from scratch. But it's not going to be like, okay, I'm making a pizza. And you go to the freezer, you pop it in, and it's a DiGiorno's or something. It might fill your belly. It might taste decent. But there's something about a pizza that was crafted in an oven that's 250 years old from New Haven, Connecticut. There's just something different about it. It's hard to explain until you try it. People who think there's good pizza here in Texas don't know true pizza. Yes, there's pizza that's decent, but when you go to Connecticut and you go to one of those great families that have been doing it for years and years and years, and all of their stuff is fresh, built from scratch, you start to question life. No Domino's pizza, no Caesar's pizza, no pizza from the frozen fruit section is going to suffice anymore. What do you do about it? You learn how to build. You learn how to build that pizza to the best of your capabilities maybe, and then you have to go to New Haven every time you want a pizza. But there is a step-by-step recipe breakdown that we can use for our life, not just only in food aspect and not only in a mindset aspect. So taking a look at step number 1, recognizing the parallels. There's a difference between kitchen and life. I understand that. But there is a parallel to it. If you can cook something from scratch in the kitchen, why can't you make your life from scratch? Build your life up from scratch. We can get all the ingredients we need. We can get all the people we need in order to build the life that we want, to get the end dish that we're looking for. So understand the connection between your experiences in the kitchen and crafting that fulfilling life you're looking for. Just as preparing a meal involves carefully planning and execution, approaching life with a well thought out plan can lead to success. Then we get into step number 2, be mindful of your choices. So you have to acknowledge that society's focus on instant gratification can lead to complacency and laziness. Understand what you put in directly impacts your well-being and development regarding diet and information consumption. So it's going to be like what you put into your body is going to be very similar to what you put in your mind. Last week we talked about how to live in a turbulent world. And then this week we're talking about how to make mindful choices. So we need to start to make better choices in our life. So if we're building ourselves up from scratch, we get to make the choices. You're not going to want to have something in your life that is not something you like. If you are building a pizza, you're not going to put anchovies on your pizza if you don't like anchovies. You get to choose. You get to make the choice. Then we get into step number 3, take proactive action. Now, that proactive action is going to be to realize that your dreams won't materialize, but simply imagine them. I talk about this all the time. We have to be the people in our lives that become the superheroes, that become the people who initiate what we get. Simply creating a delicious meal is not something we just do in our mind, right? We have to take some effort. We have to have some action. So designing your desired life also is going to be proactive on the steps that you take. So yes, you might be dreaming of the foundation, but the actions are going to be bringing the reality. All of that right there is to be proactive and to take the action necessary to get that step 3 complete. Then we get into step 4, embracing learning and adaptation. Acknowledge that cooking and life require a blend of choices, experiences, and opportunities. As a chef combines ingredients with care, your life journey results from thoughtful decisions, seizing chances, and navigating obstacles. Learn from your experience, adapt to challenges, and seek inspiration from others. That's going to be embracing learning and adaptation. You're going to learn as you're building from scratch. As I learned when I was starting off cooking, I wasn't good, but I became great. And in life, I started off 18, business finance, accounting. I was good, but I wasn't great. And then I said, I don't want to do this anymore because I was good at it, but it wasn't fulfilling. And so I did a teaching job. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be a teacher. I loved it, but I wasn't good in the beginning. I wasn't great. But in time, I had the right mentors. I had the right education, the coaches. I became great. You can become great too in anything you do, but you have to get the learning and you have to adapt to that role. You have to adapt to the mindset that you're giving yourself, to the purpose that you're trying to reach, the goals that you would like to accomplish. There's just so much that comes into play when we're trying to build and create the perfect life. When you do it from scratch, it takes a lot longer. Because if you weren't building from scratch, you would have what everyone else has. You have a 3-bedroom, a 2-bath, a white house on a picket fence, a cat and a dog, and a job that works 9 to 5 and you get 2 weeks off a year and you work until you're 65. That doesn't sound like a fulfilling life. Then we get into step 5, savor the journey and create your own path. It is important that you understand that you get to choose what the end product is going to be. You get to say, I want pizza today. You get to say, I want Chinese food today. You get to say, I want pasta today. Whatever you want, you can have, but you have to create it. You're not going to get a pizza by mixing rice together and boiling rice and then putting tomato sauce on top of rice. It's probably not a pizza. And if you say it's a pizza, I don't know what type of pizza you're eating. That's not pizza. It's rice with tomato sauce on it, and that doesn't sound too good. There's other things you have to do to make it taste better, all right? There's a way to make that taste better. But you do have to savor the journey. You're not going to always be good. You're not always going to be great. You're not always going to have the right path or the right ingredients. So you might have to improvise, but then you build yourself up so you can get the right ingredients, so you can get the right things in your life. You want to create the path that you envision for yourself. You might find that the end product might not be really good, but then you say, let me adjust, let me fix it. And then you continue on that path and you continue making changes in your life. So in closing, when it comes to building your dream life, building it from scratch, you do have to understand that it can be a trial and error thing. In order to avoid a trial and error aspect of certain things, you need to have someone who has already done it, someone who has already lived it, someone who has already tested it. There are so many recipes online for so many different things that you can build from scratch. But sometimes you want to go on that journey yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. One time, I wanted to make protein waffles, and these are going to be healthy waffles with like wheat flour, not a lot of sugar, protein powder. I'm like, I'm going to make these waffles. The first batch I did came out okay. All right. I knew what type of flavors I wanted. I knew what needed to be in there. It came out all right. The second batch was so good. I was like, whoa, this is really good, this batch. Even my wife liked it. So I was like, if she likes protein waffles, that's an A+ in my book. Then I said, I did a really good job on the second time. Can I make it better? So I did some tweaks, did some adjusting. The third time I did it, it wasn't better than the second time. So did I get it right? Yeah, I got it right the second time. But I still didn't say, oh, these are so good, I'm going to accept this. I tried again. Because if I just accepted what I thought was perfect, then I would truly not know what perfection was. So I needed to have the bad moment. I needed to have the bad patch. And even though I tried to make it better, it wasn't. Now, can I make it better? Of course. But the way I would make it better, since I have already established like my batch number 2 is better than my batch number 3, is to get a chef, trainer, someone in my life. Because I'm going to say, this is my recipe list. This is all the ingredients. These are the numbers, etc. Right? Give it to them. They're going to say, well, why'd you not add this into it? I'm going to say, what? They're going to say, yeah, it's going to taste better. And I'm like, I didn't know that. So I learned something I didn't know. I was a learner. Even though I made something really good, you might have a really good life right now. I'm not saying you don't. If you're listening to this and you're on TOS part 52 and you have a good, strong mindset, I guarantee that you're probably on the right path. But when you have a coach, when you have someone in your corner, everything changes. Unless you get it, unless you try it for yourself, you just truly won't know the feeling. I mean, I'm fortunate. I have worked with some of the most prolific, profound public figures in our world today. I say a name, you probably say, I know that person. Again, I am blessed for that chance. But it didn't happen because of an accident. It happened because of who I was and who I was building myself up to be. We can build together. You can build yourself up into that person too. You can have these people come to you, work with you, buy from you. You can become one of those people if you want to. You can be one of those public figures, those celebrities, whatever you want to consider yourself. You just have to make that choice. So ask yourself, what are you going to create? What are you going to build? Make it from scratch. Don't just find a cookie cutter program. Don't just get a box and mix it together. Build something unique. Build something the world has never seen before, and then your world is going to change. It is only a matter of time before you perfect exactly what you're trying to bring into this world. You can do it by yourself, trial and error after trial and error. Or you can get someone who's going to help you build, who's going to help you work on perfecting your craft, your recipe for greatness, for success, for happiness. All of those are just a formula, and you just have to figure out the equation. So what is your solution? What is going to be your end result? Make it the best possible dish. Make it the best possible mindset. Make it the best possible moment for you and for all of the people around you. If you need help, again, revenconcepts.com. Build your dream life. Build the foundation you need. Get all of the knowledge. Get all of the tools you need to build what you're trying to build, from empires to the perfect dish, to the perfect life, to the perfect marriage, to the perfect relationship, whatever. We build it, we help you facilitate it, and it's only a moment of your life that you say, okay, I'm going to dedicate 100% of myself to being the best person I can be. Dedicate that. Aim for that. Make that a goal. And you'll see that everything starts to align. It's almost like magic. But sometimes when it comes to cooking, it's not really much luck and magic. It's about skill and discipline. So find the skill, get the skill, attain the skill, get the discipline, do what you have to do, whatever you have to do. And then you're going to have something good on your hands. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, you can email me coachinginsession@gmail.com. And I'll see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone take care.